Today I got an absolute treat for you guys as we're about to meet with probably the most physically terrifying creep that we have seen on TCap so far, at least on this channel. This dude is a full-on professional bodybuilder and just dwarfs Chris Hansen in size, but you know what? Chris Hansen absolutely handles this one like a freaking boss. So make sure you watch till the end to see how this all goes down. In fact, we're about to see 4 different guys get arrested throughout the entirety of this video. It is that action-packed. Before we get into it, make sure you drop a like if you enjoy my content and want to see more TCap reactions. And without any further ado, let's get right on into it, shall we?
It's early spring, a few months away from the busy summer season.
This was like a $3 to $4 million home. The location doesn't matter to these people. It could be a parked car, it could be a hotel, it could be a mall.
So we're starting things off back at the Jersey Shore Sting house here. This is like one of the most expensive houses they ever did one of these investigations at. They say in the intro here, this thing could be worth $4 million, which back in 2000s money, that might as well be 100 mil nowadays, dude. So I don't know what these guys are thinking showing up to this house and still thinking that they're going to be getting away with something like this. Kind of an odd setting, but I love this series because they get to catch these creeps out on the beach in these beach chairs, and that is just hilarious to me.
Some are cautious as they pull up to our house.
That's our guy.
Watch 23-year-old Daniel Figueroa.
This first guy we're seeing isn't even the main focus of the video. He's just the first creepy guy that shows up tonight. And I am telling you guys, this is insane. The amount of traffic that this house alone got. It's actually terrifying to see how many dudes are showing up here in droves to try to meet up with some decoy that they think is home alone.
He walks up to the house, looks around, gets back in his car, and drives off. He drives back to the house 2 more times. The decoy tries to wave him in. He even starts checking mailboxes so he can scope out the house.
That's right. This dude leaves and is just sketchily driving around the block. I don't know if sketchily is a word, but you know what I mean. He returns 3 different times, as if that's not, you know, getting attention from the neighbors and everything. I don't always look out my window, but if I saw somebody just creeping around in the middle of the night, especially if it was a secluded neighborhood like this, and I saw them multiple times throughout the night, yeah, I'd be calling the cops. But apparently this dude is not afraid of alerting anybody because he's just making his rounds back and forth to this house and is all the while just too scared to show up and meet the decoy himself.
After he leaves for a 3rd time,
I have a tail on him now.
the police arrest him.
You put him in your car and took transport vehicle, yes, sir?
So that's right, dude. We're not even to the main focus of the video, and we already have an arrest here. This guy just made enough proof for the cops to arrest him by circling the block that few times like I was talking about. So thankfully, we got him. Sadly, no interview there. But later that night, the same freaking thing happens. Now, watch how sketchy this dude is, too. I don't know if it's just something with this area, but every single one of these creeps is so paranoid, it's actually insane.
He checks out the house and leaves. Then, without telling the decoy, he comes back the next evening. He's made the 1-hour trip twice.
So this next dude, who is still not the focus of our video, is somebody who has made a 1-hour drive there and back twice. So this dude's put in 4 hours of driving before even speaking to this decoy in real life once. And now he's showing up at the door and has his head on a swivel, as honestly most of these guys should be in this scenario. I guess it's kind of weird that I'm pointing out how paranoid they are. If anything, they should be paranoid, and it's kind of odd how much there is a lack of paranoia with these guys in a lot of these videos. Because you know they know what they're doing is wrong, and they're very worried about getting caught for it.
Come on in.
He sees another car pulling up.
Hang on, someone's acting all weird there. I'll be right back.
Wait, no, just come in.
The police follow him and arrest him down the road.
And he literally sees another car, and the decoy does their best to try to lure this guy inside, but I'm sorry, that has Sting written all over it when they're just like, I bet you're gonna be safe if you come inside, just cross the doorway. Yeah, it's legally showing that you enter the house and have intention if you just step in. I mean, why am I talking about legalities? Just come inside, you'll be safe. Like, he's not worried about being unsafe, he's worried about getting caught for doing what he's doing, and seeing the other car pull up into this lot, who is another creep, most likely trying to get there, because this dude showed up out of nowhere without announcing it for the 2nd day in a row. And you know, after seeing that, he's gonna be bolting. So this dude makes the same play as the first guy in the video and instantly gets arrested. That is now 2 massive freaking creeps caught in this video before we even get to see Chris Hansen. That is magical, actually.
But not every man is cautious. Here's a to catch a predator first. Even though he's been told her parents are home, the plan is for her to slip away when he arrives.
So finally, we get to meet Mr. Bodybuilder himself. This dude is absolutely terrifying looking, just based on size alone. But he pulls up here, and you just heard Chris Hansen correctly. This freaking moron is actually showing up for the first time ever with the knowledge that apparently the decoy's parents are supposed to be home at the time. He's that ballsy that he is just told, hey, we'll sneak out to the back and hang out on these beach chairs on the beach, and no one will see us in the darkness. That's perfect. And he's okay with that idea. That shows how absolutely twisted some of these dudes are, that they will go through the biggest lengths just to make sure this happens. And I just don't get how this dude didn't think that just sounded way too good to be true, for his situation at least, and what he wants.
He brazenly drives right up to the house and asks the decoy if it's all clear.
And guess what? My parents went to the movies.
Stop.
I swear, they're gone.
So that's right, Broder's got some good news. The parents are actually gone at the movies, so they could technically go inside, but instead still they're gonna be hanging out in the back on these beach chairs, which is beautiful because I know how uncomfortable and awkward these are to sit in, and something about that makes the interview and reveal process so much more hilarious to me. It's way better than just being in some boring living room, in my opinion.
He's 29-year-old Dwayne Chisholm, a manager at a gym. Calling himself Loverman Genius, he spells genius incorrectly.
So that's right. This is the meathead himself, Loverman Genius, or Jynxi, as I should say, as clearly that is a French word at the end of his handle. I don't think he was actually trying to spell genius and misspelled it, right? Because that would be something an idiot would do. But I think he actually did do that. He might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but you know what? He is freaking buff, so that's what he goes on. And he actually proves that to the decoy by sending multiple pictures of him competing in these bodybuilding competitions. And I'm not trying to knock the dude, but like, why can't you find love in the real world with people your age, especially if you look like this? I'm sure there's a lot of people that want some anime build type dude like this, and you would be fine finding people your own age. So I don't buy the fact that he's probably gonna make an excuse that he's lonely or whatever. It's like, go lift some more heavy weights. I don't know. Do something more productive than this, man. You're literally a scourge on society for doing this.
I saw his pictures and I was honestly really scared because he was a bodybuilder. He could probably like grab me with his hand and squeeze the guts out of me.
And the decoy is rightfully kind of terrified here too. I hope she got a little bit of a bonus for this one because I would not want to be one-on-one with this guy. Of course you have security on deck, and of course the cops are right around the corner, but you still don't know how these guys will act in these situations where their back is against the wall, especially somebody as massive and scary strong as this dude. I feel like a switch could be flipped and this dude just turns into the Incredible Hulk. Or the incredibly creepy Hulk, I should say.
Now, Loverman Genius is getting comfortable in our beach chair, and after only a few minutes of chatting, he wants the decoy to sit on his lap.
And that's right, this dude wastes no time. He immediately initiates and is like, hey, why don't you come over here? I can warm up this chair for you and you can just sit on my lap. Which is so freaking creepy, and hopefully enough proof for Chris to just pop out of the woodworks right here, because somebody has to come in and swoop in so they can save this decoy. I'm sure her heart rate is going through the freaking roof right now. I know mine would if I was, you know, sat across from this guy only 5 feet away. This dude is literally like 3 times her size.
That was my cue to step in.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. How are
What's
you?
happening?
And I don't know why this is such a terrifying response. I expected this dude to just get up and bolt at least, or maybe get confrontational, but instead he just lets out a Joker-ass laugh, like he knows his end of days is here and that his entire life has changed from henceforth, and he's just taking it in stride as if it's comedic. So yeah, Chris has some balls of steel right now for still approaching so calmly and sitting down next to this dude. Props to both him and the decoy for this one. Not like the other ones aren't also dangerous and scary to put yourself in, but with this dude especially, it's a little bit more frightening, I feel.
What do you think would have happened tonight, Dwayne?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to say one thing or the other. I wouldn't force her to do anything that she would or wouldn't want to do.
And this dude claims that he wasn't going to pressure this decoy into doing anything they don't want to do. But, I mean, it doesn't really come down to that. It's the fact that you're here physically right now, and the amount of material that he sent through their chat logs already is enough to incriminate this guy. And then you get him showing up in the middle of the night, getting excited when he finds out that the parents are away at the movies, and also immediately asking that the decoy comes over and sits on his lap. That's like a 3 strikes you're out type situation, man. I'm sorry. There's no redeeming this. No amount of words you can spin that will make us feel bad for you. You got caught and now you're gonna get destroyed.
Well, Dwayne, do you watch much television?
A little bit when I have time.
You ever watch Dateline NBC?
I guess I'm on it right now, right?
Oh my god. This dude doesn't quite know what Dateline is, but I'm assuming, you know, around the time of this investigation being out, word of mouth is spread and you at least know what the show is without having seen it. So yeah, this dude knows what he's in for, I'm sure. But I'm surprised how calm he's taking this. I mean, he's really kind of going against the whole idea that I had of him from the start, that he was just gonna go ballistic and start flipping chairs and, I don't know, gripping sand and just throwing it at the producers as a way of trying to run away and like obscuring where he goes. I don't know. I just imagine some crazy pop-off, and that is simply not happening, so I'm a little bit shocked by that.
So you kind of figured out what's going on?
I mean, you hear about it and you sit there and you're like, man, these poor guys, like, these guys are such idiots, and what are these guys thinking? And
What? Okay, that's how you know this dude's a freaking creep, because clearly he's watching a different show than me. His reaction is like, yeah, I've heard of the show. I know what the premise is. Every time I think of watching it, I just think of those poor guys getting caught. It's like, those are not poor guys, dude. That's the villain of the show. You're supposed to be saying all these poor decoys and poor people that could have been affected had this not been a decoy. That's who you need to be worried about. Maybe this poor guy's family is what you should be saying, but not the dudes themselves. Screw that. They're scumbags, and they know exactly what they're doing and why it's bad, so we shouldn't feel any ounce of remorse for them, and him showing this remorse here is kind of telling of what he thinks of this crime himself.
These guys are just really, really disturbed.
Well, give me a sense of what went on in your mind to make you one of those guys.
Just bored and lonely.
There it is. There's the excuse. This dude claims that the reason he did this was because he's bored and lonely. Look, man, you can't possibly be bored, because to have a physique like this, you gotta be in the gym at least, like, I don't know, 5-6 hours a day. So clearly your schedule's packed. Maybe that's the thing that's getting in the way of you meeting women, but I don't know. I don't buy this lonely crap either. I'm not saying that just because you have muscles, you're gonna be getting chicks left and right, but it can't be any less difficult than it is for these other guys on the show that are creepy, or the other people out there that also are lonely and don't resort to some crazy psycho stuff like this.
I mean, here's my thing. I know there's no excuse. You get caught up in a rut, you work 70 hours a week. Life is tough.
And he's just sitting here reminiscing now, getting in his emo vibe. Like, you know, man, I got no excuses, but life is just so tough. I'm working this job. It's working me down to the bone. I got these crappy customer interactions every day. Like, dude, I don't care. No freaking excuse exists for you in this action right now that you got caught doing. There is nothing that will make us feel bad for you here.
Well, I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. I'm doing a story on adults.
Wow.
And we just get more shocked laughter here. I really don't know how this dude's reacting this way, but I think he is just purely in a state of shock, a level of shock that we don't really see as often on this show. I feel like this dude otherwise would have been a little bit more animated, or I don't know, freaking out inside, but right now he might not even be realizing that this is real. You know, when you're in a suspenseful, scary moment like this, it's really easy to kind of get out of body and not really understand that what is happening is truly happening.
While Loverman Genius continues to apologize, another man shows up, looks over, spots our operation, and takes off.
And then, wouldn't you know it, as this dude is apologizing and as they've done the reveal, I love it, he's just calmly sitting in the chair still. A fourth guy shows up and pulls away after he sees Chris Hansen and the camera crew in the backyard. And luckily, the police are able to track this dude down, who ended up being a freaking school bus driver. I could not lie to you about that. That is absolutely insane and just so creepy to think about. But that's right, that is 4 dudes that got destroyed. So now it's time to see our star of the show today get arrested after he's done apologizing extremely calmly to Chris Hansen.
So, when do I get to see myself on TV?
Well, we haven't figured all that out yet. We're still doing the story.
I understand.
That's part of the process.
But before he gets arrested, he's like, hey, when can I catch this? And Chris is like, hey, we got to hit the editing room. There's a lot of little hoops we got to jump through. I don't have an ETA for you. So it sounds like this dude is almost more pissed off at the fact that he doesn't know when he's going to be on the TV versus actually being on the TV at all, which is totally insane. But luckily, he does get arrested, and that tops off the night with 4 creeps locked up in one video. So if you have some love for that, or if you enjoyed the idea of that happening just as much as me, make sure you drop a like on this video and comment Grim Squad for life if you made it to the very end. I want to know your thoughts on this one and all my other TCAP reactions, so make sure you go watch more of those after this if you haven't already. And as always, shout out to my patrons for their support over there. I'll catch you guys all in the next video, and until next time, peace out.